Hello, hello, VC. How you doing? Midge here, a guy in a hat who likes to talk about records, and welcome to another edition of Midge's Vinyl Gems. This is what I'm calling my summer special edition. So I'll be talking to you about lots of my summer listening over the past couple of weeks. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that Jack at the Vinyl Voyage is still doing his "If I Can Only Remember the Name" music quiz. So if you've not heard of it, I'll leave the link down below so you can check it out. And if you love music quizzes, if you like watching people in the vinyl community, hop over there. It's been a great series. It's becoming must-watch VC content. You've got the great, the good, and the entertaining and of the vinyl community and myself taking part. I've just played against Christian at the Vinyl Sanctuary. It was an absolutely lovely bloke. He's got a great channel. I'll leave a link to his channel down below and also a link to the episode where I played against him so you can see how we both got on. But yeah, lovely bloke, great quiz. So if you're looking for something to watch over the summer, two great channels to watch there. So nip over there. And like I say, in today's edition, I'm going to be talking about the summer. I've been lucky enough to go to Mallorca for a week over the last couple of weeks. Really enjoyed it, really hot, really nice. Unfortunately, no record shops, but you can't have everything. And before I go on holiday, I always pull out a few summer sounding albums from my collection, put them on the old iPod, so I've got something to listen to while I'm on the sun lounger and wandering about in the sunshine. So I'm going to go through some of those ones that I've been listening to a lot recently, show you what I've been getting up to. I did send you all a postcard. I don't know if you got it yet. I've got a copy of it here. So I sent you all this postcard, and I'll just read what I put. Dear vinyl community, wish you were here. Please don't hoover up all the bargains and great albums from charity shops and record fairs while I'm away. All the best, Midge. But you did, didn't you? So, I've watched your videos. You've been getting all the good stuff, haven't you? So that was a waste of 25 potatoes, wasn't it? Sending that. So, yeah. And no big deal on the holiday. No, big things. Oh, a couple of things did happen. This guy was covered in tattoos from head to foot, including all of his head. Came up to me one day really pissed and insisted that I knew that I looked like Noddy Holder to him, which was a surprise. I mean, I'd take that all day long. That's a great compliment. But yeah, he seemed to be desperate to let me know that I look like Noddy Holder. So that was interesting. And also at the hotel one night, there was a tribute act. There was going to be a Beatles tribute act called Let It Beatles. And I thought this could be good. Some tribute acts are pretty good. I always remember seeing a Rod Stewart one years ago at a hotel I was staying at. And he had one of the best tribute band names ever. Rod Stewart tribute act, he called himself the Son of Rod. And I thought that was great. I thought that was a brilliant name for a band. So this was called Let It Beatles. So turned up on the night, and it was one man doing all the four Beatles, even though he wasn't doing all the four Beatles. He played Paul's Hoffner bass and did covers of Beatles songs, but it was like I was a bit surprised. It was just a one man Beatles tribute act. But I've got some footage of it, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you make your own minds up. But here's a snippet of the show. So that was Let It Beatles. Yeah. Available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and probably funerals, to be honest. I think he'll take all the bookings he can get. But anyway, back to the holiday. So before I went, I pulled together some albums that I thought would be good to listen to on holiday. Some nice summery, vibey type albums. Put them on the old iPod, and I'll go through them now with you and tell you what I took away with me, and hopefully give you some good recommendations. So the first one is one that I bought earlier on in the year. I've already shown it on a video, but this is the first time I've had a chance to listen to it properly. And that's the 1969 album by the Byrds, Ballad of Easy Rider. One of a couple of gaps I've got in my Byrds collections. I also need a copy of Turn, 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 but I've never seen one that's in the right condition or the right price. But, you know, I'll keep searching. So, yeah, really pleased to get this from 1969. Obviously, it was to capitalise on the film Easy Rider. Bob Dylan was originally asked to write the title song for the film. He dashed off a couple of lines, and I think he got cold feet. I think he was worried that the film producers were using his name to sort of like capitalise on, and for the success of the film. And I think he just got cold feet. So he apparently said to them, here's a couple of lyric ideas, give them to Roger McGinn and he'll finish it for you, which he did. So that's where the song The Ballad of Easy Rider comes from, which is a great song. Obviously featured in the film. I think it was quite successful as a single. So to capitalise on it, the Byrds got this album together. It's a mixture of originals and old-fashioned country and folk tunes, given a new arrangement and a new slant on it. So apparently this was quite a success in later Byrds albums. And to be honest with you, I was really surprised how strong it was. I mean, I do like both sides of the Byrds career. I like the earlier folk, rock, jingle jangle stuff, and the country albums, where they became a sort of a type of country band in the second half of their career, which I also like. But never been a fan of Sweetheart of the Rodeo, to be honest with you. I know it's featured in a lot of areas, but it's too traditionally country for me, so it's not one of my favourites. But this is really good. You've got old standards like Oil in My Lamp, Jack Tar the Sailor, Jesus is Just Alright, which the Doobie Brothers also did a version of later on. There's a slowed down version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue by Dylan, where they slowed the tempo right down. It really, really works, to be honest. There's a folk tune called Plane Wreck at Los Gatos by Woody Guthrie, which has got quite an interesting backstory when you Google it. It's about a plane crash that happened that was in the States, where deportees from, was it Mexico, were brought over to fruit pick and then sent back. And the plane crashed. And I think when they reported it on the news, none of the migrants were mentioned by name, and they were just called deportees. And Woody Guthrie got quite incensed about that, and so he wanted to write a song about it. They were sort of like, he felt they were being dehumanized in a way. So that's an interesting backstory for that song. There's some great originals. Gunga Din, that's a great late Byrds song. Fido, another great song. The Byrds did a lot of songs about dogs, didn't they? Which was not a bad thing, but Fido's a great song. You've obviously got Ballad of Easy Rider, and it's just a great song. This is the lineup of Clarence White, Gene Parsons, Roger McGinn, and John York. It's a second album with that lineup. John York was fired after this album, even though he contributed a few songs to this album. I think they felt that, I think he got a bit mardy about, he wanted to only perform songs that he'd been on. So I think the other Byrds just thought, sack him, give him the old, And so yeah, he only features on 2 albums. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this album. It's a great late Byrds album, so recommend you checking that out. Next one is another bit of a curio that I stumbled across a while ago. I was interested by the sleeve initially, and then when I heard it, I thought, this is great, this is brilliant. And it's an album by the Digger Rhythm Band, and it's called Digger. And if you can see, it's got a really cool sort of reflective foil sleeve. I think it came out in 1976. And it's Mickey Hart, who was the drummer for the Grateful Dead, and he put together a percussion ensemble, and it's just fantastic. It's sort of it's like world music, but it's all like a percussion, obviously percussion based. So you've got congos, you've got bongos, you've got talking drums, you've got traps, timbales, timpani. You've got tablas and things like that. So there's a strong Indian sound to this album as well, but it's great. It's sort of like you can sit down and listen to it, and it's funky. And you put down your air guitar, pick up the air congos, and you're like it's fantastic for that. It's brilliant. Obviously, you don't expect a lot of melody when it's just sort of like, drums and percussion and tablas and things, but there's a lot of melody on it. They have a marimba player, and they also have a vibe player as well. So there's lots of melodies, and it's carried on those while the percussion's going on in the background. But it's absolutely, it's lovely. It's a great listen to. It's really summery, really upbeat. Jerry Garcia actually plays guitar on two of the tracks here, and it's sort of like it's got like a type of Hawaiian guitar sound to it. So that's really cool. There's only one, two, three, four. There's only 5 tracks on it, so obviously they're quite extended workouts. Lots of Indian sounding influences on it, obviously. But this is superb. So if you ever see this album, pick it up. It's a great sort of early world music album. Really funky, really melodic, really summery, upbeat. And that's the ensemble altogether. There's a hell of a lot of percussion there, as you can see. That's Mickey Hart there, apparently. Like I say, Grateful Dead drummer who put the band together. But yeah, that's another great listen. So that's the Digger Rhythm Band and Digger from 1976. Next one is one that you've seen loads of times this year. I think the album was more popular than they thought it was going to be. I think it did actually get to #1 in the album charts. And it sold out really quickly. I couldn't seem to get a copy anywhere. And I thought I could get it off Amazon. And I thought, no, I'll wait and support my local record shop. So I've been waiting for this to come back into stock. And it has come back into stock just in time for my holidays. So this is Pink Floyd at Pompeii. I'm sure everybody's seen the film. The film was remastered and rejigged at the same time as this album. I think the last time I saw the film was at college when I was a student years ago. Absolutely stoned off my head like you tend to be when you watch Pink Floyd at Pompeii. I didn't really remember much of it, obviously, but yeah, great film. And it's from one of my favourite periods of Floyd. And I love Floyd. But it's the sort of section between the sort of experimentalism of Ummagumma and the sort of more tight, structured songs of Meddle. So it's a great period of Pink Floyd. So you've got tracks like, you've got Echoes on here, the 20-minute long piece. It's split into 2 on this version for some reason, but you've got Careful with That Axe, Eugene, A Saucer Full of Secrets, which has that great Nick Mason drum pattern running through it. Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun. But you've also got One of These Days, which is superb, one of my favourite Floyd tracks. And some alternate takes as well. This is a great album. It's really well packaged, really well put together. It's been remastered and remixed by Stephen Wilson, who remixes everything these days. I mean, I think, he seems to remix everything that's going at the moment. He's probably onto the Crankies catalogue by now. But yeah, superb album, really well packaged. Nice to see the photos of the band in there. 2 LP set. There's also, I think, there's a poster in here as well. It's a great shot of the Pink Floyd's equipment, like on the back of Ummagumma. But yeah, I think there's a poster in here somewhere. Yeah. I mean, you get loads of posters with vinyl, don't you? But nowhere to put them. I mean, but yeah. Superb poster. Sounds great. Really great spacey Floyd. Yeah. You've all seen this, but like I say, I've only just got round to getting a copy of it. So I've really been enjoying that. That's superb. Really great. Recommend that. There's some great clips of the remastered film footage on YouTube as well. I think it just shows you how underrated Nick Mason was as a drummer, because it seems to focus on him quite a lot. And there's a great moment in One of These Days where he loses a drumstick and he just reaches for another without missing a beat. It's fantastic. But yeah, great album from the Floyd, Pink Floyd at Pompeii. I was thinking when I was listening to this, it's a good, can you imagine them saying to the band, "Oh, we're going to fly you out to Pompeii," and then maybe one of them misheard and thought, "Pompey? What, Portsmouth?" I mean, there's probably nothing wrong with Portsmouth, but it's not the same as going to Pompeii, is it? So, Pink Floyd at Pompeii might have been quite a different film, to be honest. But yeah, loving that. Really cool. Another great album for the summer. So next up, a bit of dub. I absolutely love dub. I don't know a lot about reggae, to be honest with you, so I just tend to stumble across the odd reggae album or dub album every now and again. And last year there was a reissue of the Creation Rebel band's catalogue on vinyl. I'd never tried them out before, and I picked one up called Dub from Creation, which was superb. So I thought I'd pick another one up. So I just picked one at random, and this is from 1981, and it's called, I think it's the sixth album, and it's called Psychotic John Canoe. And apparently a John Canoe is sort of like an old dance that slaves used to do to express, freedom and their culture and to mock the oppressors. So this is a psychotic John Canoe, which is sounds like Psychotic Duncan Goodhue, but it isn't. It's Psychotic John Canoe, totally different thing. So love dub. Picked this up. Really like the other one I got, so I thought I'd try this one. Again, it's but it's a mixture. It's not just dub. It's a mixture of dub and vocals. So you've got some songs, you've got some dubs, and apparently also John Lydon, Johnny Rotten. Does some vocal harmonies on a track on here, although I've listened to it quite closely and I can't hear him at all, but he apparently is on here. But yeah, another great album from Creation Rebel. If you've never tried them before, really recommend it. They've also got some really cool nicknames. You've got Eskimo Fox, Lizard Logan, Crucial Tony. I love that, Crucial Tony. Rankin Magoo, Fat Fingers, and Deadly Headley. So yeah, great. Produced by Adrian Sherwood as well. And it's sort of like one of those albums where, I mean, dub and reggae albums, especially dub albums, it's sort of like the producer's almost like a member of the band, because the sound choices they make and the effects that they put on, add another element to the music. And the cool thing about Creation Rebels is I always think there's a lot of space in the music for the percussion and for the keyboards and things to shine through. And obviously there's a lot of reverb and effects and stuff like that, which makes it really cool dub sound. And Adrian Sherwood seems to be really good at bringing out the space and, atmospherics and things like that. And there's a track on here called Highest Degree, which sort of like has a keyboard riff that's played backwards, and it gives it sort of like a really spooky sort of atmospheric sound. And really cool. So this is another one of the reissues on you. So you've got copious amounts of sleeve notes and pictures of the band, and they're the other albums at the bottom that are available in the collection. But this is the second one I picked up and I've really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping to pick up a few more at some point. But yeah, just a mixture of great songs and great dubs played by the band. And they used to be the backing band for Prince Farah. I think that's how they started off, and then they just became a band in their own right and just became bigger and bigger. So I've been loving this. Great summer music. Psychotic John Canoe by Creation Rebel, not Psychotic Duncan Goodhue, although I would really like to hear an album with the Psychotic Duncan Goodhue, to be honest with you. Next up, this is from 1977. It's a band that I got into last year, funnily enough. Not for everybody. They're called Sea Level, and they're a sort of yacht rock type, fusion type band. Like I say, I love that sort of stuff. Soft rock, yacht rock, highly polished musicians, great songs and stuff. But I know it's not for everybody, but yeah, I've been listening to this and really enjoying it. It's a band that was born out of the ashes of the Allman Brothers band. They're on Capricorn Records, so that's the Southern rock label. And the leader of the band, is Chuck Level. Obviously that's where they got the name of the band from. Chuck Level, Sea Level, you got it down. You got it, yeah. So this is their second album from 1977, and it's a mixture again of songs and sort of fusion. Sort of jazz fusion, really. Jazz fusion and some southern rock instrumentals, and they're an absolutely blistering band. You've got Lamar Williams, the bassist. You've got J. Johnny Johansson, who was the percussionist. They were both from the Allman Brothers. You've got Chuck Level, C Level, yeah, him. Great keyboardist, fantastic keyboardist. He's been the Rolling Stones touring keyboardist for 20 odd years now, I think. So after he left this band, he formed a connection with the Rolling Stones. He's been touring with them ever since. So yeah, like I say, it's not for everybody, but it's got a mixture of like ballady type songs, rock fusion instrumentals, and it's just got a great summery sort of vibe to it. They're obviously absolutely amazing musicians. They actually absolutely cook up a storm on some of these instrumental tracks. So if you like the Allman Brothers, then check this band out. Really easy to get hold of. They're not expensive albums. Like I say, it's not for everybody because that I think yacht rock's quite divisive, isn't it? I've always loved it, but yeah, easy to find on the Capricorn label, and yeah, recommend it. I'm not sure what's going on this cover. It looks like someone's farted, and they're all a bit embarrassed to own up to it, but yeah, or just looking thoughtful, because she's looking thoughtful. But yeah, so that's Sea Level. That's called Cats on the Coast from 1977. And next up we have Psychedelia. So this was a cheap album. I spotted it on Amazon in their sale bit. Never heard of it before. It's from 1967 and it's from a band called The Unfolding. And it's called How to Blow Your Mind and Have a Freak Out Party. So, like I say, this is from 1967. I get the impression this was like a studio band. This whole record seems to be one that they're sort of like exploitation records, aren't they? Where they're sort of like they jump on a passing fad or craze and try and make a quick buck off it. So this is quite a strange album, really. So it's basically them explaining to you. As a teenager, probably, if you wanted to become a hippie or if you wanted to get involved in the scene, how to go about it. So on the back cover, you've got plenty of notes on how to freak out and how to have a party. It's easy to organise a freak out party. All you have to do is relax your mind and let things happen. Digging wild psychedelic colours, swinging with way out sounds, grooving on yourself. I'm not sure what that is. Grooving on everything at once. To set the scene for the party, spray pop bottles or an old chair with Dayglow paint in bright colours, then light the whole room with Dayglow light. This will make everything glow with weird luminous psychedelic colours. Guaranteed to blow their minds right away, and it'd probably blow your parents' minds when they got back if all their furniture was suddenly day glow orange. But yeah, so basically it's an album of two halves. It's basically it's quite amusing, to be honest with you. It's telling you how to turn your front room into some sort of psychedelic dungeon. And the songs, it's split into two sides. So on the first side, you've got some really cool psychedelic type pop type songs, which are really good, to be fair. See if the track listing's on here. I don't think it is. Yeah, so on the first side, the first side's called Acid Rock. So you've got I've Got a Zebra, She Can Fly, which, yeah, you have to be way out to get on that sort of level. But that's a great tune. Play Your Game is another great pop song. Girl From Nowhere, another great psych pop song. That sounds like an outtake from a Monkees album. That's really good. And Love Supreme Deal is another track. That sounds a bit like The Mothers of Invention to me. So the first side is great, Acid Rock. The second side is called Meditations, and it's basically a series of songs to turn you into a guru. So there's like lots of Indian type backing, the sitars, finger cymbals. There's a Hare Krishna chant on here, which goes on for about 3 minutes, which obviously George Harrison would probably have loved. And there's loads of sort of like very serious sounding men doing voiceovers on these tracks, sort of like cod Indian Buddhist sort of philosophy that well, it's a bit hard to follow and don't really mean much, but I'm sure it was back in '67. It was great once you'd sat in your day glow chair and you got your tinfoil head on or whatever, that you would probably think you were some sort of psychedelic guru. So second side's not as good. Like I say, it's a bit of a curio. It's definitely an exploitation album. And inside, which is quite amusing as well, you get obviously it was originally pressed on a label called Audio Fidelity, and inside they had an insert so you could send away for badges and some spectacles and things like that to help you blow your mind at your own freak out party. So yeah, that's quite cool as well. Set the scene for your blow your mind party. So you get shades, you get badges, you get psychedelic discs, incense as well. So yeah, but yeah, it's a bit of a curio. Like I say, I got it cheap. I really enjoy the first side. It's brilliant, sort of like pop psych songs. Loses its way a little bit on the second side because it's just sort of like it's like Indian mysticism type tracks, but they don't really go anywhere to be honest. But it's quite amusing. It's on this sort of marbled orange wax. Like I say, it's definitely an exploitation album, but it is quite amusing, the sleeve notes and things like this. It tells you what conversations to have, freak out conversations. Did you know that Marilyn Monroe owned a jewel from Tutankhamun's tomb? Try out some psychedelic words on your guests. Acid head, not very friendly. Hobbit, mandala, swami, turn on, freak out. Yeah, it's quite amusing to be honest with you. Turn on yourself and your guest to an ancient Indian chant which brings ecstasy and peace of mind. When the chanting begins on the side of this record, join in. It will really blow your mind. And it probably does. So yeah, enjoyable on the whole. Like I say, it was only cheap, but yeah, it is a good listen. And that's The Unfolding: How to Blow Your Mind and Have a Freak Out Party from 1967. Next up, another old favourite band, a bit like the Byrds in a way, in that I've been into this band for years, and I've got most of the albums, but there's always a couple that sort of like, slip under your radar and you never can find the right copy or the right price. And I went to a record fair last year and I spotted a couple of albums by them, and I've been after them for absolutely years. And they were in really good condition, good price. Condition was a bit iffy, but I thought, they're both here at the same time, and I've never come across them before. Well, in the right sort of condition, or they've always been a bit battered, or I thought, just take the plunge, and I'm really glad I did now. And it's the Incredible String Band, a band I really love, and this is The Big Huge. In the UK, The Big Huge was a double album, and it was linked with the other half of this album called Wee Tam. So it was Wee Tam and The Big Huge, and like I say, in the UK, it was a double album. In the States, it was issued separately. And I don't know why, I've always fancied getting the separate albums rather than the double. So, like I say, I saw this record fair. They had both copies for a reasonable price. I think they are both original US Electras. The only thing is, not in, like I say, the VG condition. A few pops and crackles and marks, which isn't great for a folk album, but like I say, I've been after them for so long, and I thought both together, both reasonably priced, both in great condition, I'll just snap them up. I know Karamak disagrees, but yeah, that's his problem. So yeah, sorry, yeah, this is the US edition. So this is the Big Huge half. So I thought I wouldn't listen to them both at the same time. I'd listen to each one separately. So I've gone for the Big Huge first. Absolutely love the Incredible String Band. Nobody else sounds quite like them, do they? It's that mixture of sort of mysticism, fantasy, innocence, and Mike Heron and Robin Williamson, both different types of voices, but they complemented each other so well together. And there's a good article in the most recent edition of Mojo about them, and I didn't know this, but apparently, although they worked together, lived together for a long time in a commune, they sort of like they weren't best mates or anything. They were very different people, so I don't think they were very close. But it's hard to tell when you listen to their albums because they're so, they work together so well. And obviously, this is from '68. It's quite pared back for an incredible string band. Apparently, they wanted to make it a bit more simplistic, and they did actually live together with the girlfriends at the time. So I think they had a long time to sit and work out the arrangements and stuff. So by the time it was ready for them to go into the studio, they had all the songs down and all the arrangements down. Of course, it's mainly acoustic based, but you've got so many like exotic instruments on here. You've got sort of things like sitar, you've got gimbly, Irish harp, whistles, all sorts of different exotic instrumentation, which is what made them stand out. But just no one liked them. They're just a great band. Obviously, they were very much of the time. It's not the sort of thing that you could really do now and be taken seriously. But yeah, the product of the time, very hippie-ish, really great songs. Don't know what they were going on about half the time, but they just sounded so good. And I've been really enjoying this. I've forgotten how good the Incredible String Band were, to be honest with you. So, yeah, really enjoying that at the moment. So that's from '68. That's The Big Huge. Puzzlingly enough, I think when the UK edition was available, the double, it had an insert in it, which wasn't replicated for the US version, but for some reason I seem to have it in this version. Some more lyrics and a little drawing there. But yeah, strange. But like I say, I'm really glad I picked them up now. Decent prices, and I've really been enjoying this. So yeah, The Big Huge. Next up from '69. Really enjoying this as well. This is The Sacred Mushroom. Look at that cover. Absolutely superb psychedelic cover. This is a recent reissue. Charlie Records have just reissued this. It's blues rock with a psychedelic edge from '69. It was a band from Cincinnati. They lived together in a house called the Mushroom House, which is pictured on the back, with all their friends. So it was a bit like a hippie commune type place that they all lived and stayed with the friends. The band was based around two brothers, Larry Goshorn and Danny Goshorn. Larry did the guitar, Danny with the vocals, a bassist and a harp player. But yeah, this is brilliant. I've been really enjoying this. It's sort of like raw garage rock, blues rock with a psychedelic edge to it, and the songs are really catchy. Yeah, really great stuff. Oh, a song on here I was listening to on holiday. I thought I know that song, and it's called "I'm Not Like Everybody Else." And then it's twigged. It's a cover of the Kinks song by Ray Davies. So yeah, that's got a really cool cover on it. But yeah, originally issued on 1969 on the Parallax label. This is on the Charlie Records label. Like I say, it's just been reissued by them. But yeah, this is superb. If you like your garage rock or your psych rock, this is great album. Like I say, a great psychedelic cover as well. No doubt, lots of mushrooms were involved in the production of this album. But yeah, highly recommend that. That's cool, really great. Next up, another summer classic, a soul summer classic. If I can get my words out. From 1976. Roy Ayers, Ubiquity, and Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Obviously, most people know the title track. It's an absolutely amazing soul summer classic with the the great lyrics, just bees and things and flowers. I mean, you can't describe summer in a better way than that, can you? Ultimate summer groove. You just put it on, oh, just blissful. But the rest of the album as well is just as good. Obviously, Roy Ayers is a vibist, but on this album, he tended to play more electric piano and electric keyboards and synths and stuff. And he's got a really cool sound to this album. A lot of the synths sound like well, they sound like the sunshine. I know it's a bit hard to describe, but there's some great sort of like bright synth passages and backings on it. So the whole thing sounds really cool and really summery. And Roy sings a few tracks on here. There's also some other singers on here, but especially I think it's a woman called Debbie Darby who co-sings some of the songs, which she's got really really expressionist, well, really expressionful. I can't think of the word now. Really expressive voice, that's it. Really sort of like strong and dynamic voice to it, which adds to the tracks. Like I say, it's not just Everybody Loves the Sun, so there's some great songs on here. There's a funny sort of comedy type song called Lonesome Cowboy, which is funky, but it sounds like one of like the Ohio Players used to have Funky Worm and Funky Grandma, and that it's along those lines, and it's really cool. You've got Tongue Power, which sounds a bit dodgy, but that's really sort of squelchy synths and funky bass, and that's really cool as well. You've got a song called The Third Eye, which is like a jazz instrumental. I don't think that's rude, but it could be, I don't know. And a song that's got like a repeated chant running through it, which sounds a bit like Roy Ayers has sort of condensed his chat-up line. So it's called Hey, what you say, come on. So it sounds like a condensed chat-up line. I hope he didn't use that in clubs, but yeah, it's just repeated through, hey, what you say, come on, all the way through it. But, you know, if it worked for him, it worked for him. Also, you've got your obligatory mention of the zodiac signs, which is really funny, isn't it? Because so many soul albums and funk albums in the 70s mention zodiac signs. It must have been a really popular dating thing at one time. You know, it's sort of like, you went to a club, I'm Pisces, I'm Capricorn, you know, it's a perfect match, blah, 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 let's go back to my place. But, you know, on a lot of funk and soul albums in the 70s, on the back covers, musicians are always named, but with what they're playing, but most importantly, the zodiac sign. Don't really get it myself, but yeah, it's featured in lots of funk albums. In fact, it even crossed over into the early 80s with the Sugar Hill Gang and the Furious Five, because even they mentioned the zodiac signs in their early raps and stuff. So, you know, I don't know. It's just a bit of a bizarre thing that used to happen in the 70s.
Cancer, and my name is Larry.
So yeah, Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, absolute classic of soul, funk and jazz. Can't recommend it highly enough. You've got Roy on the back here showing off his juggling skills. Obviously not going too well. He's got one in the mouth there. He's got one in the eye. And I'm not sure what's going on here. I think he's imagining holding a giant cornetto or something like that. But yeah, got a few Roy Ayers albums and they're all good value for money. But this is an absolute summer soul classic. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Of course you do. Of course you do. And another old favourite from years gone by that I needed to get again and picked up a reissue. Absolute classic. The first album by Simande from 1972. I think I became aware of this in the early 90s. There was a reissue. I think it was a bootleg reissue that I had for many years, and then I lent it and then it disappeared. And then it got reissued a couple of years ago, and I thought, I've got to get a copy of this again because I missed it so much. And it's an absolute banger. It's not a weak track on it. It's an absolute classic. A 9-piece band, originally all hailing from different parts of Jamaica. They all moved to Britain in the early 70s and gigged as a band. And it's just a great melting pot of sort of funk, soul, reggae, rock, jazz, Caribbean calypso. It's such a great melting pot. But these musicians, they just pull it off so well. It's like it's a mixture of all sorts of genres, but it's an absolute killer. There's the band at the bottom there. Like I say, originally released in 1972, it didn't really do much. And then over the years, it became credible again. A lot of hip hop artists started sampling the tracks, and it became more and more well known, and eventually led to them reforming and making a few more albums. I think they made another one this year that I haven't heard yet, but I've got the second and the third albums as well, and they're really good, but they never came close to this first album. This is, honestly, everybody needs this in their collection. It's such a good album. There's no bad tracks on it. You've got like Rastafarian folk song on it, and another one, Zion I, obviously, like the Rastafarian teachings in song. You've got Listen, which is a great song about personal respect and pride. You've got some great instrumentals. You've got Rickshaw. You've got the 10-minute track called Dove, which is just a sublime, chilled out jazz soul fusion. You've got the track Bra, which I don't think is actually about bras, but that's another absolute classic. And you've got obviously the Message, which is been heavily sampled over the years, and that's another classic soul funk tune. But yeah, this is the reissue from a couple of years ago. I can't remember what label did it now. Partisan Records. But this is a really great sounding reissue. And honestly, everybody needs this in their collection. And like I say, I've been listening to it on holiday. I've forgotten how good it was. It's an absolute barnstormer. Can't recommend it highly enough. So that's the first album by Simande from 1972. Lastly, this is a relatively new album. This is from an artist I've just got into called M.L. Bush or M.L. Book. It's Mary Louise Book. So she's a Danish artist, and she does sort of dabbles in electronica and pop. So this album's quite like a mixture of both. This is her debut album. It's called Skinned. It came out in 2020. I heard a few tracks. I can't remember where I heard them from now and really liked them. So just investigated and really liked the album. This album and a second album have just been reissued on vinyl. So like I said, this originally came out in 2020. And it's sort of described as left field melodic pop. So you've got your sort of... You've got your electronica synth type textures to it, and you've also got her guitar playing. It's acoustic guitar, finger picking type playing, but it's processed. It's sort of like got an electronic sheen to it, and it's very much like the album cover. It's sort of like this is a really sort of like got a real glossy production to it. Everything seems polished, so it's like a mixture of electronic instrumentals and her vocals and pop textures. So it's a bit all over the place, but it's in a really cool way. So you've got instrumentals with sort of like weird short electronic passages, and then you've got the actual songs themselves with her. She's got a really beautiful singing voice. And if there is a theme to this album, it is between sort of like technology and its relationship with real life. So you've got like songs like I'm a girl you can hold IRL, obviously text speak, but it means I'm a girl you can hold in real life. It's not digital. It's it's a human thing. And a song called Touching Screens, which she complains about. I'm touching screens more than skin. And it's just a great singer-songwriter album, but it's got like a really cool twist with it having like the experimental electronic textures and the highly polished sort of finger-picking guitar and, processed beats and sounds and stuff. And it's a really cool album. Released in 2020. I think it's on a Dutch label called Anyines. But yeah, this is the recent reissue of it. I think it's just on black vinyl. But yeah, if you want something a bit different, it's got a really summery sort of sound to it as well. But like I say, it's like electronic pop, and it's got like a real sort of like 80s type production sheen on it. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, I'd really recommend checking her out. So that's M.L. Butch and Skinned, and I'll give you a little taster of it now, just so you can get an idea.
Touching screen.
Okay, so that's the end of my summer special and my summer, the best of my summer Rs's. No, not that. No, you need another channel, another video for that. But yeah, that's my recent repetitive rotations for the summer. I hope you've got something there that interests you or you want to check out and dive into. Don't forget to keep hydrated and to keep applying your factor 50. And I'll see you on the next video. So see you soon. Take care. Cheers. Midge out.